This is Glitch, and I'm Chovy, your host. Today on Mechanics and Mechanisms Episode 2, we're going to be installing a box using these cool clamps that I got. I really don't want to weld because it will ruin the powder coating. I will if I have to, but I found these awesome clamps that are going to allow me to basically install a box so I can put some switches in. All right, so we're kind of in my workshop area, and we're going to take a look at some of the parts that I got for episode 2. We're installing that box today. So check this out. You can kind of see on the side of this, it's actually made for a certain type of car. So what I'm going to do in my head is I'm going to shave off these little arrows, if you will. These are the brackets that we're going to use today. Originally, I bought them for some lights. They actually attach to the sidebar, and the light attaches right there. I'm going to use them to attach this box. This box is for a different model of car. My idea is to shave down the sides, get rid of those top pieces of plastic, and kind of make it flat like this side, and then mount it using these. So hopefully it works out for me, and I won't have to do any welding to get this box installed. These are the switches that I'm going to attempt to put into that box. This bar right here. And hopefully if I have one here and I have one here, it'll hold the box in place here so I can put my switches. That's what's in my head. We'll see what happens. So I kind of made it so that I could see what it looks like. Kind of is a little bulky, but if it works out in the end, I'd rather do that than ruin the powder coating. If it doesn't work out, maybe I will eventually weld a plate on, but this might get me started. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to continue on my process, put the bolts in, mark this, and do some drilling and grinding and see if we can't grind that down and make it round. This is the plastic glove box, switch box thing that I had, and I kind of modified it a little bit. On the top, I went ahead and drilled 2 holes, which match the clamps that I installed on the dune buggy. We'll look at that in a minute. I drilled out the back where I want the wires to come out, and I went ahead and put a rubber grommet on the back just to kind of make it look more professional. On the sides, I cut off the plastic clips originally to hold it in place in a car. I also purchased a couple things. In addition to that, I purchased a piece of aluminum, which I'm going to put as a face plate on this box so that we can fit this mechanism that I've been playing with, and I'll kind of walk you through what I've done here. Hopefully that works. Each of these clips have a rubber piece on the inside with 2 bolts, and you kind of just put it around, tighten them up, and it kind of clamps it down. I just turned it backwards so that it holds the box in place, and honestly, I don't want to wreck the powder coating with welding. So there we go. So this is kind of what I did. You can see I kind of cleaned up the back for whatever reason for now. This is my original box. I just took out a battery, which was honestly the same size. It was actually a little smaller. It was like this big. But these 2 fit, and both are charged up and working, and I didn't have to change anything. So I'm going to see if this works. Honestly, I don't even know if that amp down there is enough. Who knows? I've been putting together the wires, electrical, and the different components to make the switch box look the way I want it to look. I'm going to kind of explain what I did. All right, so this is what I've been spending my time on the last hour. I went ahead and moved the on-off switch from this position to this position, which made the wiring all weird, and I couldn't get 2 wires into these connectors, so I was like, you know what, let's use the original connectors and I'll just extend the wires. So that's what I did. It's time to battle test. We'll see if the electrical works. If the voltage meter comes on, it means they're all connected because one can't work without the other, so hopefully it works. All right, so it's on right now. It's going to go from the power to the 12 volt cigarette lighter to the voltmeter. All right, and you can see We're running at, it's hard to see, but 12.7. I went ahead and made this plate. It's kind of a crude plate that I'm going to put on the back of this switch box. I'm about to screw it into this box itself and run the wires at the back. Hopefully, once I get the screws in, this will look really good. So we'll see what happens. This is the finished product, what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and install this now. I cut the fuse by accident when I was pulling the wires at the back, so I had to replace it with a different fuse. It seems to be working, so let's install it. Alright, well the box is installed. You can see how I went ahead and used my clips. Alright, we got the wires coming out the back. I got the box installed. Looks like it fits pretty good. Let's come on in here, kind of see the finished product. So obviously the switches are going to get tucked back in here. I'm going to pull this in right now. Kind of put the faceplate on. But this is as secure as it's going to get. In here I have Loctite washers. So when we are off-road, it's not going to jiggle free. And yeah, so let's attach the face. Alright, we just finished installing that switch box. Let's check it out. So you can kind of see the way it kind of looks right now. I think it turned out pretty well. It's kind of what I imagined. Got the nice faceplate, switch on and off. I went ahead and extended the wires. I added an additional for the 2 cigarette lighters on the bottom. So we'll see what that looks like. But overall, looks pretty good. Solid. All right, we just finished up the modification. We got the switch box attached. And it looks pretty good.